I don't think I will ever get used to how cold it is. I keep thinking I can go around without my gloves on, but I still get frozen to the bone. Oh. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can start to feel my fingers again. Oh, they're doing that weird tingly thing they do when they've been cold for too long. Ooh. Oh, but that's so much better now. Oh, that's nice. I am so glad Rob built the stove. I mean, the campfire was a really good idea, but the stove is just so much better. I'm so glad he managed to pull enough metal together to make it. It's going to really help to distribute the heat amongst this side of the vault. And then finally, we might be able to get rid of some of these icicles that are still hanging around. And I'll be able to dry my socks on it later. Brilliant. I keep thinking that it's not as cold as it was. I keep walking around without my gloves on, but I think I just want it to not be as cold as it was. I keep thinking I can see more sunlight poking through the ash cloud. Just a few more beams of light hitting the ground, but I think that might just be my imagination. Having said that, the last few times I've been outside, I've seen these curious leaves poking out from the permafrost. They must be the seeds. The seeds that we planted in the irradiated earth. Well, some of them grew, but some of them didn't. And coupled with the nuclear explosion, that must have kicked off some kind of hyper-evolution. And now we have frost-resistant plants. Oh, brilliant! There are things growing out there. Oh, that's wonderful. Just like the bone that Rob gave me. The bone from last week. Well, me and Science Club, we opened up the cloning lab again. You know, the cloning facilities that all the vaults have. And we drilled into it using the fine bone drill bit, the one with the diamond tip. Spared no expense. And once we got into the middle, we found that there was actual genetic material. Real DNA from whatever this creature was. We still don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it's old. And when I say old, I mean very old. The DNA inside had degraded a bit, you see. But no matter, because we had the froggies that live by the moisture evaporators where we like to pick mushrooms. There's a wonderful family of froggies living there now. Well, we got some DNA from them and filled in all the gaps, and look! We've made some eggs! I'm so excited. They're so close to hatching, it'll be any day now. And finally, we can have creatures roaming the earth again. There's some way to fixing this horrible mistake that we've made. I know Rob said he'd forgive me, but some days I find it really hard to forgive myself, you know. I wonder what's in the eggs. What comes in an egg? Ostriches come from eggs. And that bone might have been a leg bone. Could you imagine the size of the drumstick on an ostrich? It'd feed the vault for a week. Oh, it might be something else though, something a bit weirder. Like a platypus. Platypus lay eggs. They're quite small though. Could you imagine the size of a platypus coming out of an egg that big? Doesn't do to think about, really. Rob would be so excited to see these though. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Rob in a while. I wonder where he's got to. Rob? Rob? Where has he got to?
Oh, it's really cold outside. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, getting some feeling back in my fingertips now. Oh, it took a lot of effort to salvage this much metal. I'm really glad we did. We've got pipes going all the way through the facility now, and hopefully we're going to melt some of these icicles finally. That would be really, really good. Many of us went out collecting the metal. Not all of us came back. They came back later. They were having a snowball fight. Oh, that's good. Oh! Huh.
Rob, that's where you are. Where have you been?
Oh, I was out building a snowman.
What were you building a snowman for?
It's an ice age. What else am I going to do?
Well, that's a fair point. There is a lot of snow out there.
Oh, look at these amazing things. They're wonderful.
Aren't they great?
Where did they come from?
Well, you remember the bone you gave me last week?
The bone. It was really big, wasn't it? It was massive.
Huge. And that's why we've got massive eggs. They're what came out of the DNA that we got from the bone.
Oh, so you did manage to get some DNA. I assume, though, due to the age of the bone, that it was rather fragmented.
You are quite correct. Once we got inside, we found that the gene sequence here was very, very broken up, so we had to fill it in.
Oh, and you used the froggies from the moisture evaporators where we grow the mushrooms.
Exactly. Oh, there's such a lovely family of froggies there now. Yeah, we harvested some of their DNA and mixed it in with the gene sequences from the bone and created these.
That's fantastic, and it's come at the perfect time as well, because while I was outside, I noticed that there were these leaves poking out through the permafrost.
You saw them too?
Yeah.
Isn't it exciting? It's like life finding a way.
It's a new kind of plant. Yes, exactly like life finding a way. Let's hope, though, because obviously it's the remaining seeds from when we planted them and they grew into triffids. Since then, we've had a thermonuclear explosion, which has further irradiated the underlying stratification. Let's hope very much that we don't just have a new, more hardy breed of triffid on our hands, because that would be awful.
That would be the worst thing ever.
But in the meantime, we've got these amazing eggs, and they're going to make a fantastic omelette.
Oh no, these are not for eating. They're going to hatch. And then those creatures are going to go out into the world and make more little creatures. And finally, we'll have an Earth populated with living things again. We can start to undo some of the mistakes that we made when I set off that nuclear explosion.
Well, I've forgiven you for that. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Well, what do you think laid these eggs? It has to be something really big because of the size of that bone. And they're big eggs.
Exactly.
So what is a huge creature that obviously lays eggs that would be of a proportional size to the creature laying them? Oh, it might be a giraffe.
I don't think giraffes lay eggs, but you never know.
Yeah, it could be a giraffe, or, you know, maybe something else, something a bit more obvious, like an antelope or something like that. They always lay eggs, I'm sure.
Well, whatever it is, we're going to find out very soon. These eggs are due to hatch, and I think they're going to hatch today.
Really? Today?
It's so exciting. It does mean, however, that I can't leave their side. I have to be here just in case they need me when they hatch.
So that means that once again we're stuck at home. Well, what are we going to do while we wait?
I know. You could spin me a yarn the likes of which I've never heard before.
I could do that, but as things have become so complicated recently, I feel that it would be more appropriate to weave a tapestry, the likes of which I've never woven before.
We could, but it is still a little chilly in here, so why don't we go on a merry dance, the likes of which we've never danced before?
That is the best idea yet. In fact, do you know what?
What?
Come with me. Let's go.
Brilliant. Lead the way, Rob.
This story is set in a place called County Clare in Ireland. In Dunbeg Bay. A place that existed before the earth was covered in ice. Before the nuclear bomb detonated and wiped out the triffids. Before the wasteland and the Dust Bowl earth. Before we were all shut away in this vault in which we now live. before the generator stopped functioning, before the stove was a necessity, and before icicles came down from our rafters, chilling us to the bone. This story is set in a place where waves lap gently against shore. The coast is made of pebbles, not sand. The kind of pebbles upon which someone could drag their boat up to shore after a long, hard day of fishing. And indeed, Dunbeg Bay is a place where fishing happens aplenty. In fact, the majority of the population there, the people that live in that place in County Clare, they are fisherfolk. They believe in the ways of the sea. They go out every day onto those treacherous, treacherous waters, and they throw their nets overboard and drag in what catch they can. And sometimes they fill their bellies, and sometimes the sea gives them nothing. There is a woman called Joan Donaghy, and she goes out onto the coast every day. She isn't a fisher herself. She's a beachcomber. And as she scours the shore amongst the pebbles for good things to sell on her stall, she comes across something that she's never before seen in her life. A creature sat on the rocks there, looking out towards the ocean. Quietly, calmly, serenely. And she cannot believe her eyes, for it is a merrow, one of the waterfowl.
I have heard tell of your kind in these parts. You are a merrow. Your people live in the sea. I never thought I'd get to see one in my time. You have some kind of cage with you. Please, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your ways and why you have this fishing cage with you.
I am indeed a merrow. My name is Kumara. I'm from the deep out there. The ocean blue, as you might call it. I have my cage. The men of the ships that float above, they throw them over and catch my friend. Sometimes, when the ocean is wild, they themselves sink down. Their souls they leave, and I think if they use the cage to catch my friends, then I will catch their souls and put them in the cage. I have just caught a soul in this cage here from a sailor who came down and did not go back up.
No, I can't hear more of this. Oh no, I can't stay and listen to any more.
Joan rushed home after her conversation with the merrow, Kumara. She'd never before heard anything like it. Oh, she hadn't known how to take it at the time, but she knew now that it was devastatingly wrong. How could this creature keep the souls of the sailors in those cages, in those lobster pots? Or she knew in her heart that it had been truly a mistake on his part. Something that he had just assumed and yet not known through lack of understanding of human nature and human culture. And so she took it upon herself to right that situation. She gathered her emotions and she gathered her thoughts and she set out once more towards that stony pebble beach.
Kumara, I am sorry I fled before. but I've returned because I need to tell you something. Those cages. You keep the souls of our dearly departed in those cages. That is wrong. That is not the way we do things.
But I keep them safe.
You think you keep them safe because you think we send our cages down to keep your friends safe.
You do not?
No. I'm afraid the fishermen send those cages down so they may capture your friends, so we may eat them.
As I eat the kelp of the ocean.
I am sorry, Kumara. We did not know they were your friends. But even so, to keep the souls of our loved ones caged like that is wrong. For our souls to be free, then they can rest. Please, please release the souls of those that you've captured.
Of course. I am torn inside that I have wronged you so, but please, no more eat of my friends. Please, please, no more.
Of course, Kumara, I will no longer eat anything that comes out of the ocean.
I shall set all of the souls free. They shall go and no longer be caged, and in return, there will be no more cages. No person of Dunbeg Bay, not Joan nor any of her kin ever met a Merrow again. Nor did Kumara, the Merrow of the area, ever come ashore, to anyone's knowledge. Although, in truth, he may have looked out from his dwelling under the waves and seen the people of the land, and knew that he knew less than he thought. Just as Joan and her kin may have looked out into the waves and considered the Merrow, and realized that they too knew less than they thought. And so, let us take the lesson from this, that although we may see cultures so different and disparate, walking side by side with ourselves, we may not in truth understand their plight, their circumstance. So that being the case, remember not to make assumptions. For assumptions are the cause of much grief in the world. I really enjoyed that story.
Oh, me too. I really liked it.
Oh, and it had the Fishy Guy.
The Fishy Guy, and he could swim in the water and be on land with people.
Yeah, but not like the small water, like the big water.
Big water. Do you remember the big water?
Yeah, and it had those other things, the other fish in it.
Yes, the other fish, and some of them were different shapes as well. Like, I remember there was one that was in the shape of a star.
Starfish. Now, you'd think that a starfish should be up in the sky, but actually, it was in the water, the big water.
The big water. The big water that was called the sea.
The sea. Oh, the ocean.
The ocean.
I learned that from my encyclopedia in Carter 96.
All full of useful things in Carter.
All the useful stuff, yeah. And, he kept all of the souls in the cages.
Yeah, and he thought he was doing a nice thing. But actually, all of the souls didn't want to be kept, did they?
No, he made an assumption on culture.
Exactly, an assumption. Maybe he should have asked before he started messing around with all those souls.
But then how was he to know? Because all of those sailors, they'd be floating around on his house, his house being the sea.
Oh, yeah.
Floating around in their boat, and then, suddenly they're all drowned, and he's like, oh, there's all these souls around, what am I going to do with them? I'll keep them in a cage, because that's what I do with souls.
I could see how he would think that he was doing a nice thing.
Yeah. And then the lady, she came along and she set him straight, didn't she?
Yeah. So I guess in the end it was all fine.
Yeah, I suppose, in a way. But what do you reckon the other fish thought about it, really?
I don't no. I mean, I don't suppose many other fish people keep souls in cages, so they probably all thought he was a bit of a strange one.
Bit odd, yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Oh, I really liked that story. And I really liked how you told it as well. I thought you did really well.
Thank you.
And I thought, because you did so well, that I'd get you a little surprise.
Ooh.
Well, I'll just show you. Just wait there.
Okay. Oh, this is a bit of a mystery. Haven't got a clue what she's going to get. I mean, I didn't think she had time to go out and get me anything. It's not like there's much outside apart from the snow. Just warm myself by the stove for a little bit while I wait.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Look,
It's a dinosaur.
we hatched a baby dinosaur. One of the eggs hatched while you were telling the story,
Oh.
and this is what came out.
The eggs from the bone.
Exactly. It must have been a dinosaur bone that you found.
Oh, wow. Oh, what kind of dinosaur do you think it is?
Well, or if you look at his little dino feet, he's a two-legged dinosaur. I haven't seen his teeth yet, so we're not quite sure what he eats. But once he grows up, we'll find out all about him.
Oh, well, I can't imagine he'll get very big. I mean, look at him, he's
I know,
tiny.
so cute.
He'll just be scampering around the place, surely.
Well, I thought because you did so well telling the story, you might want to name him.
Oh, well, he will be scampering around because, as I say, he's not likely to get very big, is he? So why don't we call him Scamp?
Scam? What about that? You like that, Scam? Oh, I think he likes it.
Fantastic!
Oh, hello, Scam. Oh, he's getting a bit fidgety. I think it's time to find him something to eat.
Oh, well, we've got lots of charred triffid in the back. Shall we try him with that first? Maybe he's a plantosaurus.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. You ready to go, Scam? Yeah? Oh, come on.
Wow, we cloned a dinosaur. And we've called him Scamp as well. Well, he's definitely not going to get very big. Did you see his little footsie-wootsies and his tiny little tail? Such a cutie. Now, I'm sure nothing bad is going to come of this whatsoever. That's nice.
Rob, what are you doing?
I'm having my dinner.
But there's a dinosaur egg.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
But that's one of the specimens that's come out of the science lab. What are you doing?
No. I wouldn't take one of those. I found this in the corridor, fair and square.
In the corridor.
Yeah, down by the ladies' loo.
There are dino eggs in the corridor.
There's loads of them. They're all over the vault.
They weren't there earlier. I wonder where they came from.
Do you want some? Go on.
Well, you said there was loads.
Yeah. They're all over the place.
Okay.
Down the hatch. Get that vanilla aftertaste.
Oh yeah, that was unusual.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
I wonder if that's where the froggy DNA played into it.
Yeah. Anyone who has ever licked a frog knows that they taste vaguely of vanilla.
And who hasn't licked a froggy these days?
I know that I definitely have. I mean, there's all those ones down near the moisture evaporators, you know, the ones that we get the mushrooms from.
Yeah.
I'm licking them all the time. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
You got that? Yeah? Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. We've had a great time today, haven't we, Penny?
Oh, just the best.
You get stuck into that dino egg. We wouldn't be here without your help. And thank you so much if you've donated to keep this going at some point over the past 3 months plus.
3 months.
We owe you a solid. Thanks. But we can't keep doing this without your continued support. So please do continue to support us. We've got all these baby dinos to look after now. So if you could, please go to www.paypal.me/Strange-Twig and give us what you can. We really, really appreciate it. Any little booties? The 3-toed variety, of course, would be the best. Theropods. Any scarves? We don't yet know how long Scamp's neck is going to grow, not knowing what variety of dinosaur he actually is. Anything would be very gratefully received. Thanks.
This is actually really, really tasty.
You see, and you were going to tell me off for eating it, and here you are, stuffing your face with it.
Yeah.
I did tell a little white lie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really did come out the lab. Sorry.
Stop! Oh!